Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Outcast Season 2, Episode 2. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. The Reverend just, oh god, we find out he didn't mess up as bad as they thought he did, but in turn it has resulted in him messing up in another way.
Yeah, pretty much. He just can't win, can he?
So, so it turns out he didn't kill the awful kid, even though the awful kid deserved to die.
Yep.
He, but he tells Patricia that he did, and
She does not like it.
she does not take it well, as you would expect, and she doesn't actually believe him. She's like, "Oh, he's still alive. He's out there. I believe that." And it
Yeah.
turns out she's right, actually. But she's not going to forgive the Reverend for putting her through this conversation, essentially.
Yeah.
So she's going to be super. If he'd just waited a day,
I know. That's the irony of it, isn't it? One day, 12 hours.
it's just another example of him messing up. I did really like the scene though when he has that conversation with her though. It did that thing where this show likes to do it kind of more often than other shows, I think, where it puts the talking space on the wrong side of the frame.
Yeah.
You have all the space behind them instead of in front of them. But not only did it do that, with her, because they were in this sort of like dark, sort of not quite dungeon, but it's the jail cells. It's not a sort of,
Yeah.
it's not a well lit place, but there is a window, and she's like really like harshly backlit. The sunlight's coming in from behind her, and she's like really harshly backlit. But everything in front of her is all kind of in dull darkness, and it
Yeah.
gave it a really nice feeling. The scene. So no, I really liked that scene. It was well paced, well directed. There's a few well directed scenes in this actually.
There was, yeah.
In fact, the other one that comes to mind actually is again the Reverend. It's when the chief comes in to tell him that he didn't kill anyone, the body that was found. And this is the thing is because we kept seeing that body at the morgue, we kept like getting scenes of it, and I'm like, wait, is that the body they found? Because it looks burned, but it also looks really weird, and the lips were sewn shut. It's like that couldn't be the kid,
Yeah.
unless Sydney literally just did something to him. But I'm pretty sure we've seen the kid as well in the house, which is why it makes sense at the end we find out he does have burns. Like he was there, he did get burned, but he didn't stay inside.
Yeah, he got out.
He got pulled out by Sydney presumably. And so that makes sense. But the scene when the chief comes to talk to him again, it was just this really nice. It was doing the same thing again, where the talking room's on the wrong side of the person's face, but it was like really extreme, where they were really because typically you have someone in the third of the frame, their eye line, but this was like really over to the side. Like the chief would be over to the side, and then the rest of the frame was just the bars and the sort
Yeah.
of orange glow of the light behind the bars, and it just looked really nice. It was a really well shot scene.
It is, and obviously because it's so unusual to see, it's just a little bit off and uncomfortable, which really works for this show, where everything you're just watching to see what's not right.
Yeah, even the opening titles actually was something. Obviously, we've seen them multiple times at this point, but it was something I noticed in this one, and it started to annoy me in a weird way, but I understood why they were doing it. But me, as someone who understands pacing, is annoyed by it.
They
Right,
always
so,
cut off early or something.
no. It's when the opening titles sequence is playing,
Yeah.
and it's doing the flyover of the town and the various locations, and the titles come up, and the titles are sort of split in half, and they kind of slide together, right?
Yeah.
And they sort of slide together and they finish, and then like part of it, like so it's like a sort of horizontal slice. It's diagonal, but it's a horizontal slice, right? And they come in together like that,
Yeah.
and they sort of like they sort of like come in fairly quickly and then slow down as it's there. But then one thing it does after they've done that is it's like a split second, maybe a full second before they go away, is that one word in the title goes like that and goes down. And it was really awkwardly paced, and once I noticed that I couldn't not see it, and every single title does it.
Ah. So it's like a break, isn't it? I know what you're on about now.
Yeah.
It's like it fractures and drops.
Kind of, yeah. But it's like it was usually the first word in the name would go
Yeah.
like that and drop down from where the other one was. But it felt awkwardly timed, and I get why they're doing it because it's meant to feel uneasy. It's just like something's off, something's just not quite right. But once I noticed it, it started to annoy the shit out of me because it was
Yeah,
just
yeah, I know what you mean.
because the timing of it felt wrong.
It's the same thing I always say about the Better Call Saul intro, where it cuts off just like half a beat too early, and it pisses me off every time.
But again, it's intentional. They made that
It
choice.
is, yeah, exactly.
But no, it was something I noticed. It's not a big deal, obviously, but it's just once I noticed it, I was paying attention. I was like, every single title was doing it because at first I thought it was a mistake, but then every
Right.
title started doing it, and I was like, oh, well, okay. They did. Because it almost made it look like the screen was stuttering, like the feed wasn't quite right.
Yeah.
But whatever.
It was too intentional.
Yeah. So the Reverend gets let out. Notable, of course, that he did not take his Bible with him, even though the chief asked him to. And the chief is even like, because now he's in on the whole demon stuff, because he goes with Kayla at the start of the episode to try and get information about Cindy and exercise someone. And Kayla's like, look, I can't go around exercising every single one of these bastards. There's too many of them. I need to find out why they're here. I need to cut them at the source, find out what's going on, and stop it that way. But at the same time, the chief is in the whole operation now. He's like, right, to the Reverend, you, and Kayla, we need to be on the same page. We need to work together. And he's left holding the Bible. So the Reverend obviously is feeling...
He's having a crisis of faith.
He is having a crisis of faith. I think he's having a crisis of lots of things. He's... Mainly because he keeps messing up in such spectacular ways.
Yeah, I think this one in particular boils down to back when he found out his exorcisms weren't doing anything. He thought he was doing, the Lord's work with getting rid of the demons, with the Bible and all the other stuff that he was doing.
And obviously the final straw of this is in between these. Obviously, we've talked about the earlier scene with with Patricia and this later scene with the chief. But one of the sort of subplots that he has throughout this episode while he's in the jail cell is that this junkie who's been arrested is in the cell next to him. And he's going through withdrawal symptoms, and he tries to help, he tries to talk to him about it. We find out his son also had drug problems, and so he knows about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And he tries to talk to him, and I really liked how this was directed as well. Is you can sort of, there's a moment where I think as the audience we get that the kid's being possessed, and it's not just withdrawal symptoms. But then when he stands up, he starts running into the bars. He says a couple of things to him, but he basically just keeps running his head into the bars until he dies, and the blood's splattering. And the final moment is the blood splatters on the Reverend's face, and it's a really great...
It's got a really great sound to it as well.
Yeah, sound design was really good in this episode, actually. There was a lot of... This show loves to do the low bass thumping.
It does. Maybe too much at times.
Possibly too much, but, actually having the 5.1 with the subwoofer, you notice that thumping. It's like it's almost like a demonic force is entering the room every time it decides to do it. So it works well. Like, I can't... But he holds up the Bible. He tries to stop him with the Bible, and he's trying to, you do his normal stuff, his normal shtick, and it doesn't work.
It's just nothing. And I think that's what it is. It's just the idea that he's questioning, is it doing anything? Like, it's clearly not doing anything to these demons. Is it there at all? Like, is there anything in it for him at this point?
Yeah, so... Reverend, I was almost worried that him being in a jail cell was going to be boring, but no, it ended up being rather entertaining.
It was.
So that's fair play. So that was his thing. Now the chief does tell him to go to the cabin where Kyle and Amber have been staying, which I think is key because I think the chief is the person who shows up at the last second when we get to the next thing. So we're going to talk about Megan. And she's broken. She has this conversation, and Kyle tries to explain to her, it wasn't you that killed him, it was something inside you. It was same sort of thing that was inside my mother, inside my wife, whole thing. And she's like, you can't make this better. She's a broken mess right now. And
as far as she was concerned, it's still her hands.
But it leads to that great moment, because she gets like a really good long scene towards the end, where it starts with her looking through his belongings, because actually the start of the episode is they faked, presumably Kyle and the chief faked a car crash for Mark, so that it wasn't a suicide. It was a accidental thing. He's gone now, but it's not, no one's getting blamed, or him himself isn't getting his memory tarnished. But Kyle's picked up his belongings that they had to have him on him, and she's looking through his wallet, and she finds, because remember he pawned the wedding rings, and she was really upset about that they had to do that, but he'd got them back, and she finds them in his wallet, and it's this really sweet moment. And she walks out to the water on the docks, and we get that beautiful bird's eye view shot we got last time. I had it a couple of times in this episode, but this was at night. This was her going out there, and you're like, oh, is she going to kill herself? That's kind of the sinking feeling you've got.
Yeah.
And you think, think of your daughter. You do have a kid. Like, don't leave her with no one.
Yeah, exactly.
Think of this, Megan. Think of what you're doing. But she's in the water, and again, we get this great. I really feel the direction of this show is really strong. It always has been, but I'm really noticing it this season. There's been a lot of really good little moments where I feel like, had the direction not been here, this episode could almost be argued didn't have a lot of advancement.
Yeah, because obviously I know we mentioned it last episode, but that was an episode 1 of a season. Typically they get in guest directors, for the bigger episodes like that. I mean, they did it for the very first episode, if I recall.
Oh yeah, it was Adam Wingard did the first, the pilot.
Right. So they do it for like the big episodes like that, the first ones of the season often. But this was, episode 2. It's usually just back to normal.
No, but
And if this is normal, then I'm okay with that.
yeah, all the shots of her in the water, and she's just sort of like thinking of her life, and we see that the shots of her and Mark and the kid, like and Holly out in the field one day having a picnic or whatever they were doing, and other various flashes, and she's there, and it's almost like. And it's actually a really great moment because she's almost like, she's committing suicide, but it's almost like thinking of her life. Maybe she does think of her daughter. She does think, wait a minute, I can't just throw all this away. Like, there is more to live for. And she tries to swim back up, and you're almost worried that she won't be able to, that she's struggling, and she does stop moving, and she does start to, like, the life starts to fade away from her. And that's when we see a hand come in, which I'm assuming is the Reverend because he was just told about this location.
Kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
It makes sense that it's him.
And that'd be nice for him to have a win.
Yeah, he actually saved someone.
I think that'll be really important for him right now.
Here, you thought you killed one ginger. Here's you saving another one. There's a ginger gets to live because of you.
Exactly.
Yeah, which arguably is a fail as well, depending on your point of view.
I'm not sure I can really argue that, to be honest.
But all this was great. Like I think what this episode really did for me is it was making so much of these little moments, these little character beat moments, where it was really treating them with the room to breathe, where they could just contemplate like the area around them, and it was making them beautiful enough that I was engrossed in what was going on just from the visuals. It wasn't having.
I think, like you say, without like the direction, this episode doesn't do all that much, which is why it's nice to have this downtime. Just let's let the characters just react, think, breathe, and it just makes the pacing overall you feel better, I think.
Yeah. No, this is just one shot. The whole scene was great, good as well. But the one shot I really liked is when So Amber runs away at one point towards the end of the episode, and Kyle goes looking for her. And it's when he's in the car looking for her. There's this great, again, it's a bird's eye shot of just the headlights in the car as it's driving, and it's just this really hypnotic shot because it's not a shot you typically expect to see of a car driving.
No, it's rare you get that.
And it's just so you can just see what the headlights are lighting up, and it's just the road moving really fast underneath it, and it gave it this, I don't know, this sense of roaming through the night kind of feel to it.
And I'm really liking the bird's eye view stuff because obviously it's quite a lot we're getting it. It really gives you this feeling that you're an observer, like you're watching this unfold.
It's also giving you the sense that, given we're in a show where we're talking about demons and we're talking about hell and stuff like that, is the bird's eye
looking down?
Is there something looking down from above as well, like that's helping? And in both those situations, it's like. It's just before he finds Amber. Is there something looking down, making sure he finds her? Is there something looking down at Megan and make sure there's someone there to help?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, is that an intentional thing?
It is notable in this, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is pretty good. So obviously Kyle's plot, we've saved that.
Yeah.
As well as Sin, there's a little bit of Sin there. We mentioned obviously there's a body that was found in the burned house, and Sidney goes to visit it at the morgue, and he expects the black sort of goo that's coming from it. But right away we get the sense that, like, it's sewn from the mouth, it looks ritualistic. I mean, when you see it proper, because this other guy comes in and picks it up later.
Yeah. So
I assume Sidney sent someone to retrieve it.
I assume so.
You would assume it was him. Yeah. But this guy comes and picks it up, but when he lifts the blanket off of her, and you see the whole body. The hips are really like extruded outside, like to the side. Yeah. Like it's huge, really unnatural looking. And obviously you've got the whole ritualistic of bits being sewn shut and all that.
There's a real mystery to it, though, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think the chief said she'd been there for at least 30 years. I think that was the time frame.
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah, which puts you in the 80s, like 80s ritualistic killing. Was that around the time of Kayla's mother? Like,
it's a good question.
Because Kale's about that age, right? He's early 30s.
Yeah, I'd assume so.
Early mid-30s, seems about that.
Yeah.
Late 20s at a push, but certainly around that time frame. And Kale's mother, by the way, is dying. She's on the way out. The doctor says, best case scenario months, to which Kale's like, best case? That's best case.
He's not impressed with that bit of news.
But Kyle does pick up on something really smart, actually, because he notices the doctor's like concerned about his well-being, almost as if he wants to make sure Kyle's okay, because we know the demons want Kyle for something. Like, whatever they're building to includes Kyle's participation. So it makes it so he kind of like he tries to follow him, but the Doctor ends up trying to come at him with a crowbar.
Yeah.
While he's in the car.
I really like it at first where the Doctor just plays it off like, no, I'm a doctor. It's my job to look after anyone, and I like that this show at that point I wasn't sure still because it's kind of developed that paranoia with Kyle that who's a demon, who's not, and just staring at him, as he's saying this reason again. I'm not entirely sure which way this is going at first.
Yeah, I think I was hoping he was a demon just because it was such an intriguing idea to me that they want to make sure Kyle's okay. Like, that's part of the goal right now.
I hope it was like then, but I wasn't sure for definite. Like, there was the questioning like Kyle had, but just didn't know.
Yeah. Amber's missing her mother. Wants them to be a family again. She's worried about the can the monster come back?
That's a good question.
She's concerned about that. And she's kind of scared of Megan because she thinks, could the monster come back? It's kind of an ongoing thing with her right now. Again, she's pretty good little actress. I think she's selling the moments really well.
I actually think that's another like interesting idea. Obviously, we just spoke about the one with them keeping Kyle alive, but that's something. Can they possess someone twice? Can it because obviously it won't be the same demon, but can a different demon possess a body that's already been possessed?
I don't think we know that yet.
We don't, but that's when she brings it up, Kyle's face is like you see that he's like, oh shit.
I don't actually know.
Yeah.
No, never tested that theory.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting something that we can delve into.
Yeah, no, it is. And one last point about Sydney as well is his body seems to be dying. Like the killer that he's inhabiting at the moment is coughing up blood. So. Yeah, so he's on a clock as well. Everyone's on a clock. Everyone.
I mean, that's how you make it interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Put a timer on it.
But no, I guess one minor point is the mayor's try to convince the chief to retire because he keeps like going after people that because after that couple at the start and like that's again someone who's like a high member of society and he's like, why are you doing this? Why are you storming into X, Y, and Z's places? And I think that'll be a plot that develops over the season as they see him as acting more and more crazy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. Obviously, with him being in on everything,
but
he's going above and beyond what it looks like his job is.
Yeah, but that said, though, we kind of did that with the Reverend last season, where he kind of in the public eye got more and more extreme and like detached. So I'm wondering if this season it'll play a different way, where we'll get to the point where it almost is going to go that direction, but then.
I like to think he's a bit smarter than the Reverend, and he'll go, hang on, I saw what happened to the Reverend. I'm going to play this better.
I don't even think we think he's a bit smart. The Reverend's an idiot. He's repeatedly proven himself to be a damn fool.
Exactly.
So
I was being kind.
So I'm pretty sure. But I'm wondering if there'll be some sort of public thing that happens that shows everyone there is something going on, and it'll be a change of the town's attitude towards this stuff.
That feels to me like if it's going to happen, that'll be the end of a season.
Possibly.
Like the big reveal that everyone's in on this now. This is a public knowledge thing.
At the end of the battle lines get drawn. Is there like a...
Yeah. Who picks what side?
Yeah.
Because like I said, we saw the people with the families, even though they were possessed, not both of them possessed, but they still sided with them. Yeah.
Devil playing tricks, all that idea.
Yeah. Could be fun.
But no, it was a solid episode. And obviously, the final moment, of course, we see that the ginger kid is alive. He's in great pain, though. He's got burns. I'm
sure you appreciate the pain, at least.
It was funny, because the only reason why you knew it was him is because you could see the ginger hair, but part of it had been ripped away and it was all burned, like where it had been ripped. And his hair is not dissimilar to yours, as it happens. Got a similar sort of curly...
That is fair.
Yeah. So, wish fulfillment might be a phrase to describe it.
Maybe you're projecting a little bit onto this.
Oh, I'm projecting in 4K, baby.
Very good. Enjoy it while it lasts.
What you think he's going to like rise up and like be the most powerful person in the show?
You know it.
He
has no soul for them to torment.
He is Sydney's bitch, and it's going to stay that way until his
his death.
Pathetic death.
Probably.
And then his mother Patricia is probably going to... I don't know what she's going to do next. Like, after all this,
No idea.
When he does show up, but it turns out he did get affected by the fire, and he's like half his body's burned. He's like Two-Face. Like, how's she going to take that? Like, does she go after the Reverend with a shotgun at that point? That's what I want to know.
It's a very good question. I hope he throws a Bible at her. Because why not?
Oh, there's something really comical about like doing a possession movie where the priest literally just throws Bibles at that monster.
Well, I can kind of see it happening though. He's like, if he's running away, he's trying to do it because for some reason he's still trying. He's like, this just doesn't work, and just chucks the Bible up the head.
Whereas a more badass priest might make like throwing stars out of a crucifix, so you can throw the crucifix, but it's got blades. Cool. It's got sharp edges, so it actually penetrates.
Or at least make it better like a stake. You can hold it still.
Oh yeah, you could do that. But I'm thinking crucifix throwing star.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'm thinking a ninja in the shadows, kicking arse for the Lord priest.
I reckon he just needs to call in the priest from The Exorcist.
The show or the movie?
The show.
Right, okay.
Yeah, because they had all those badass scenes.
They did. Yeah. A couple of them really did. Yeah, the British one in particular. He turned into quite a badass by the end of the show.
Yeah, exactly. Call him in. Just for assistance.
All right. That's episode 2 of Outcast. Let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. Individual Twitters are on the screen for everyday ramblings from either of us. Thanks for watching, guys. Have you got any vanilla?